Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Better Than a Pill. Today, I am so excited to have Taylor Belcher as a guest on our show. Taylor is a toxin-free lifestyle coach and a certified aromatherapist. Today, Taylor is going to be sharing her knowledge with us on the things we need to do to start moving towards living a toxin-free lifestyle. So, Taylor, I am so excited to have you and for you to share your knowledge with our listeners today. So, welcome and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited for this.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in helping people live toxin free.
Oh, the first thing was essential oils that I started using. And this was back in 2016. I started using the essential oils. And then I moved to Germany with my ex-husband at the time. And through that, when I was there, I became a certified aromatherapist because I just fell in love with the essential oils and I wanted to know more. And I wanted to know more of the safety aspects of it and the blending part of it. So I did the aromatherapy course there. And then when I moved back to the United States, I started my blog and I didn't think it was going to become anything. I thought I would call my friends and family and be like, can you please follow me? I don't want to not have 0 followers. And so at first it was just something I did for myself and for basically for me to go back to and see the recipes that I use and to have somewhere to store everything. And then it just turned into something bigger than what I thought it was. And so then through that, I've learned so many different ways to live a toxin-free lifestyle, whether it's using essential oils or the products that you use. And I just went crazy with it. And once you learn the horrible chemicals that you are using on a daily basis, it's terrifying. And especially if you have kids or pets, I have 3 dogs. So it is scary to know that you don't know what some of these products are, what the chemicals and the products that you're using are. And that's just where my love for all that started.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it is extremely terrifying once you begin to realize what's going on. And so, so what are some of the common sources of toxins in our daily lives?
Environmental Working Group has some really good, helpful resources. I like their Healthy Living app and their Skin Deep app, where it shows they have ratings of each product and if the chemicals, they rate the chemicals in them. So if you have no idea what you're doing, I would look for a resource like that. Also, you do want to stay away from greenwashing companies. So those are companies that a lot of times they have green bottles with plants and it makes it look like it's healthy. They'll have the word natural or eco-friendly. And it makes it look like when you're at the store, you're like, oh, this is a better option. And then when you look at the label, you turn it around, look at the label still has a lot of these toxic chemicals and they're just allowed to get away with it because there's no regulations. So be aware of companies that greenwash and just keep an eye out for the toxic chemicals that are hiding in them.
Right. So that's a term, greenwashing. So that's interesting. So basically, these companies are appearing to be natural, and this is the term, but inside these natural products are these hidden toxins.
Yes. And it's
Yeah.
so crazy that they're allowed to get away with it, but there's just no regulations and trade secrets. You can say that you have, like I said, the word fragrance. You could write the word fragrance, but behind that word fragrance, you can have so many different toxic chemicals that are allergens, that are cancer causing, that are hormone disrupting, that cause fertility issues, but you'll never know truly what those ingredients are because it's hidden behind the word fragrance. So that's how also greenwashing, they just like to say you could put something all natural on the label, even if it's not all natural, just because trade secrets and there's no regulations.
So that's
Scary.
interesting. Yeah. And so like for example, this greenwashing, where would we find some of these products? I'm just curious, for example, would we find some of these products at Whole Foods? Would that be a possibility?
Absolutely. You're going to find them at Whole Foods. You're going to find them at Walmart. You're going to find them even your natural, Whole Foods, people think going to Whole Foods, you're going to find everything natural. They're not going to have anything bad, but they're still going to have that stuff. I mean, you can find better alternatives at, I think everywhere, even Walmart, there's better alternatives there, but you just have to I'm like that crazy person that's sitting in each aisle, turning each bottle around, looking at all the ingredients. And you kind of just have, if you want to live a more toxin-free lifestyle, you have to just be more aware and know what you're putting on your bodies.
Yeah. And what taking it a step back that, these toxins, they're causing not only cancer, but coming into affect our thyroid, for example. That was my issue. I had to be very mindful of,
Yeah.
affecting that. What else did you mention that these toxins can affect?
A lot of them are allergens, and
Okay.
they can make your asthma worse or cause asthma. A lot of fertility issues. I know there's a lot of people, especially younger people, that aren't able to get pregnant. And I'll say to them, if they mention to me like they're having a hard time getting pregnant, and obviously there's a million different reasons that somebody could not get pregnant. But the first step that I tell people is, what are you using? What deodorant are you using? What are you using to wash your body and to wash your hair? What are you using to make your home smell good? Are you using candles? Are you using plug-ins? Are you using air fresheners that aren't good? Like, so it's, yeah.
Yeah, and that just it opens up a whole nother can of worms. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, just candles in general, scented candles. We think, oh, this smells so good, but not really so good for us, right?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And, for me, I was a big fan of using Lysol and Clorox wipes until I, again, found out, that's not so good for us. Right. And
Yeah.
so things like that. I mean, it's just having the awareness of like, oh my goodness, you know?
Exactly. And it is, some people with the Lysol and the Clorox, some people, they'll say to me like, well, it works, so I'm using it because who cares what's in it, because it still works. And I'm like, there are natural products that you can use that will work just as good, if not better, than these toxic products. And it's just about realizing, is it really worth using the Lysol to clean your table or to clean something off? Especially, like I said before, if you have children or you have kids, you really want your pets that are licking things and your kids that are putting their hands in their mouth a lot. Is that something that you really want to risk?
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I also have on my website, if you go to my website, the toxin-free-lifestyle.com, I do have a low tox swaps guide that I put out, that I did the research for you, so you don't have to stress that much. And I just, every category, every product, I give you alternatives so that you don't have to feel so overwhelmed trying to do it all yourself.
So there's a lot of products, and that includes household products, cosmetics, foods that can cause, harmful things to our body through exposure to these chemicals and toxins. And as somebody like even myself is trying to make the journey towards a toxin-free lifestyle, how important is it to maintain a balance between being proactive and not becoming overly anxious or overwhelmed about making these changes and about potential toxin exposure?
So I understand it is difficult at first, and it can be so overwhelming when people think that, oh my God, there's toxins everywhere, I have to throw everything out and get all new stuff. First of all, that's expensive and a little unnecessary. So what I like to tell people, and what I started in my own journey, is, like I said before, first of all, start out with what you use mostly. So your toothpaste that you're using daily, multiple times a day, your deodorants, your hand wash, everything that you're using the most. And I would throw those out right away and just get new, fresh start. And even if there's a little bit in it still, I would throw it away and start fresh, because you want to eliminate those products immediately. And then after that, then you can go category by category or room by room. So you can start in your kitchen and look at your dish soap, your pots and pans, and your food storage containers, your like silverware that you're using. So I say you go room by room, product by product. And when you're, for everything, you don't, like I said, you don't have to throw it all out at once and get new. You can, as you finish your last drop of that dish soap, then instead of ordering that same brand, you order a better alternative. And I think that's the best way to not be so overwhelmed. And also, if you are on a budget and you don't want to spend so much money on all toxin-free products, even though there are budget-friendly options, but something that I do a lot is I DIY my own things. So it's fun. You get the kids involved, and it's a much budget friendlier option to DIY your own. Like, I've made my own hairspray. I've made my own dish soap. I've made my own toilet cleaning bombs, my own laundry detergent. Anything that you have, you can DIY, and it could be a little fun at the same time.
So, wow. So with the DIY, that's something that you write about on your blog.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And we'll mention that at the end of the episode as well. So yeah, I like the idea of getting rid of the things that you're using the most, because of course you're going to get the most toxin exposure from those items. And so let's talk a little bit about, let's say for example, toothpaste, like using a Crest brand, not so good.
Not so good. Crest toothpaste is filled with fluoride, which you're going to want to stay away from. And it's also filled with, like I said before, the SLS, the sodium lauryl sulfate. That is what makes it bubble and foam up in your mouth. And there's a few other toxic chemicals in those toothpastes too that you just want to be aware of.
Okay. Yep. So I know I've made the switch personally. I have not made the switch for my children yet. I've made to a fluoride free because the fluoride was not so good. But fluoride in general is not so good, is what you're saying, for the body.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to find different opinions on it no matter who you talk to. And in my opinion, I use a fluoride free. It's not worth it for me. Yeah. Especially for kids.
Sure. Okay. So that's interesting. And then mouthwash. What about mouthwash? Same
thing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got two big personal care items there. We've got soap, cleaning products. I think with the fumes, I know for myself, I've definitely made the transition, but I like how you said you can do things gradually. I know that I've had to do that myself because it is overwhelming. The things do cost money, and not that money is the end all be all. And I love the idea of do it yourself. I'm going to have to, everybody listening, check out Taylor's blog for some more information. But finding things that are safer replacements takes work, right?
Yes.
So there's just so many products and so many things to consider. So if we break it down a little bit into segments, so definitely our personal care products, and included in that, we've got our, like you mentioned, toothpaste, mouthwash, which is generally, from my understanding, mouthwash is pretty unsafe unless you're using something that's non-toxic.
Yes. And there are better alternatives that you can use that I do use too. So there are alternatives for everything that you use.
Okay. Yes. And of course, shampoo, hairspray, all these things.
Hairspray.
I know.
Deodorant is a big one with a fragrance, with aluminum.
In general, so for replacements of these brands, so Whole Foods is going to be a big go-to for a lot of people listening, because that's a natural food market. So if they go to a store like that, they're going to be able to now know that we can't trust every brand that's there, but to flip it over and just make sure some of those key ingredients that you mentioned earlier are not on the label, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Obviously, Google search definitely works.
Google's always there for you.
Google's there, but definitely writing in, is this toxin free? Because I know even in the Google searches, when I've looked up items in the past, it will say something safe when it's not actually safe.
And a lot of times it will be coming from their own website. So make sure when you're looking at that, a lot of times their website will come up first because it's either sponsored or just directly related to it. So I would stay away from their website and just see what other people say, or just look up the ingredients and then I always will Google, if I don't have something in front of me, I will Google a picture of the label, and there's always going to be pictures of the ingredient label and the whole label that on Google that you'll be able to find.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So definitely, you mentioned one thing earlier about cooking pans, and I know that one thing that I've read about lately is that the non-stick, to stay away from non-stick, and just wanted to pick your brain on that a little bit.
Yes, you'll want to stay away from the non-stick and the Teflon cookware and bakeware. And there are some great alternatives. I like cast iron the best, but you can use stainless steel. Silicone is a better option, not the best, but a better option. And it's more budget friendlier than the cast iron or the stainless steel too.
And is glass, like a Pyrex, okay?
Yes. Also glass. Yes.
Awesome. I started using that because we had it.
Yeah.
and um and also people are probably aware of this, but if not, getting rid of plastics and just speaking on that because I know I've had to do that, or even certain sandwich bags, or things like that.
Yes. So going through the kitchen is one of the biggest areas of where everything that you use, you'll find the toxic chemicals somewhere. So cooking utensils that you use, you're going to want to stay away from the plastic versions of those and go for wood is a better option for those, like wooden spoons. And for food storage, you're going to want to stay away from the plastic cheap storage containers and go for, I like glass or plastic wrap. Instead of plastic wrap, you could use beeswax wrap.
Some of the plastic wraps I know are that I use are safe. It will say, it's free, BPA free or whatever, and those are okay to use.
Yes. So I do prefer to use like an alternative to the plastics, but if you can't, sometimes it's a little more expensive. Like cups and bottles, you're always going to want to go for BPA free.
Okay. And that's kind of a step in the right direction for people.
Exactly. Yes. You don't
Okay.
need to go crazy from 0 to 100. You can make little steps.
Okay. Awesome. And you obviously have experience when we, first started talking about how you got into all this with aromatherapy. And I am curious to pick your brain on that because that's a whole new world to me. I don't know much about it. And I would love to know a little bit more about, what you can do to help yourself and help your body through aromatherapy and eliminating toxins and so forth.
Yes. So for one example, you can, like I said before, DIY. And when I DIY, pretty much anything that I DIY, I always use essential oils for not only their therapeutic benefits, but also their smell, and they make things smell good. And each oil has its own therapeutic benefit to it. If you're feeling under the weather, for instance, there's oils for that. Or if you have a headache, there's oils for that. So a big thing that I like to use essential oils for is in replace of candles, I like to use essential oils and diffusers. So you're still making your house or your room smell or your car smell nice, and you can pick your own little scents with that without the toxic fragrance that comes with it.
What are some of your favorite fragrances to use?
Mostly I go to lavender, peppermint, eucalyptus I love. Lemon. Lemon is a big one. I'm always diffusing lemon, and vanilla. I'm always diffusing those in some sort of combination.
Yeah. Now I have to get a diffuser. I do not have one yet. And if you're listening, it sounds like a wonderful replacement, right, for scented candles.
Exactly. And with candles, there are better candle alternatives for like companies that don't use harmful synthetic fragrance, and they'll use natural essential oil fragrance candles, soy candles. There are better options, but the essential oils and the diffusers will be your best bet.
Awesome. Now, do any of these like essential oils that you use have any additional benefits for the body?
Oh, yeah, every essential oil has a benefit for something and multiple things. So they say that lavender oil is like the Swiss Army knife of essential oils because it has so many benefits, from skin benefits to healthy hair benefits to you could put it in, make an eyelash serum for your eyelashes and your eyebrows. I like to put rosemary and peppermint and lavender in my shampoo and have for my scalp and better, healthier hair.
Well, that's great. What about, I'm just curious, what about peppermint?
My favorite thing with peppermint is when you're not having so much energy and you're feeling just sluggish and very tired. I like to just put peppermint in the palm of my hand and then just inhale, and it kind of wakes you up a little bit. And that's one of my favorite benefits of peppermint.
Awesome. So you can actually use the essential oils outside of the diffuser.
Oh, yes, you can use them topically, and you can make little potions, I like to say, and make your own little blends for different things. You can put it in your moisturizer. You can put it in your shampoo and conditioner, like I said. You can use, but topically and aromatically are my two favorite ways to use them.
Great. And in terms of living toxin free, I'm going to guess, I might be wrong, but you may use some of these essential oils in your DIY or do it yourself. For those of you who
Yes.
don't know the lingo, Is that correct?
Yes. So everything that I make, I usually use essential oils, and not only to make it smell good, but for the therapeutic benefits too. So let's say if I like to make a fabric softener with vinegar, and it's just vinegar and then essential oils. So I like to put usually lemongrass and spearmint in it to make my clothes smell nice. And hand soap, you can make your own hand soap. And instead of using the toxic fragrance that is in most antibacterial soaps, you can make whatever scent you want with the essential oils.
Awesome. Thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
Just real quick, just picking your brain, one last question for you today before we wrap it up. Are there some brands that people could easily access as replacements to some of the brands that they're currently using, and maybe breaking it down a little bit into, certain areas?
Yes. The best place to find everything will be on my website on my low tox swaps guide. But on the guide, I have Branch Basics is a favorite of mine for cleaning. Also, Truly Free is a brand that I use. I have all of their products. I use their products for cleaning. They have hand soap and laundry detergent. For deodorant, I like to use the brand called Mineralized Deodorant, and that it's like a powder that you powder on. For makeup, there's two brands that I like the most. It's a brand called 100% Pure, and Ilia is the other brand. And at 100% Pure, they also have a lot of skincare, which is nice. For my hair shampoo and conditioner and hairspray also, I like the brand called Evolve. For toothpaste, I like to use the brand called Lumino. And those are like the ones off the top of my head that I can think of, like the big brands that I support.
Great. And some of those are accessible on Amazon as well, or places like that.
Yes, you'll find some of those on Amazon, on their websites, on my toxin-free swaps guide. One from Walmart, if you like to shop at Walmart. Clean Colt is a better alternative from Walmart. At Costco, Ecos is a better alternative. Yes.
Yes, I love Ecos.
Yes.
That's what I use, actually.
Yes, I've
Okay.
used their laundry detergent many times in the past too. I like their laundry detergent out of all their
Okay.
products.
Right. Thank you. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing so much valuable information. If you want to learn more about Taylor Belcher's work, you can find her on Instagram at the toxin-free lifestyle and read her blog at the toxin-free-lifestyle.com. Both links are included in the description of this episode. And remember, we do new episodes every week on Wednesday, and I look forward to you having me join me then.